Hello, hope you're all well. I hope also that you enjoyed last week's episode. Please do check out the latest episode of the pod where I brought on, it might be the other week actually, I can't remember the time, whatever. I brought on Hattie from the Rugby Historian and the Women's Rugby Treehouse to discuss cool women's rugby history, including a fun little tidbit of information about Leicester Tigers' potential involvement in the first World Cup in 1991, the first Women's World Cup, that is, of course. Welford Road, as it was then known, did become a host venue of the Men's World Cup that year, but at one point it was looking like it was going to be Welford Road for the 1991 Women's Rugby World Cup as well. So check out that pod if you haven't already. Available on the usual streaming usual podcast services for yourselves. Also, in terms of news, please do check out, I've put it on the Instagram story, Nick Heath obviously has been going around all PWR clubs. He's done a really cool one on Tigers, talking about their ambitions, their style of play, etc. The full episode of that is on YouTube Shorts, as opposed to the version that's been put on Instagram and TikTok, so I recommend taking a look at the full video that's on YouTube Shorts. It speaks to Fraser Gocher, who is quite interesting that what he's talking about, the style of play. When I interviewed him a few weeks back, he was kind of talking about he seemed to be inferring about a more conservative approach to rugby. But speaking to Nick Heath, he was very much like, no, we are going to be a team that plays exciting rugby, attacking rugby, that's going to get fans on their feet. Of course, we didn't see much evidence of that in the PWR Cup run, but hopefully we will do when the PWR itself kicks off in just a couple of weeks' time. So that is very, very, very exciting. So I'm going to go do a video form episode this week, really condensed. Going to put it on YouTube and a short version on Instagram, kind of continue what that's about. Basically, the aim of this video is to discuss who is Olivia Tallon, who Tigers have recently signed from Western Force in Australia, and what might she bring to the Tigers side. So, firstly, I want to do a shout out to Tigers Comms for what was an excellent detailed article on the announcement of Olivia Tallon's signing. Tigers win Tallon contest. Cheesy, love it. Let's have more of that, please. I think it has to be the best base template moving forward for women's rugby information, because it gave us actual information of what was going on and not just, we've signed this player, welcome to Leicester. Included information on that article was confirmation from the club that 4 players have not had their contracts extended beyond the PWR Cup run. So they are Sarah Nicholas, Zayn Hebelima, Beth Taylor and Abby Lamb. So I've already put this on the socials, but I do want to reiterate, if you guys are watching this, thank you so much for everything that you have done in a Tigers shirt. Particular shout outs to all of the players, but also Sarah Nicholas, obviously a late season arrival after Worcester went under a couple of seasons ago. I actually really liked Sarah. I thought she was very, very consistent. Formed a decent midfield combination with Meg Jones from memory in that latter half of that 23-24 season. A bit of a shame really that she never really saw that many minutes last season, and has decided to go back to the champ with Cheltenham Tigers, I believe, or has been released to Cheltenham Tigers. So thank you to Sarah. Obviously, thank you to Zainab Alima, who obviously broke so many accolades playing for Tigers at the beginning of the PWR last season. It was very, very exciting that we got you back. It's a shame that you've been released back to Richmond. With this thing, it's one of those things where, never say never. Maybe she can come back, but it is one of those things where, can she fit around her sort of online influence profile, her obviously her career as a mum, and other things with commuting to Leicester from London on a part-time contract. So it's one of those things where, will it work out? Is it the best of both parties? And yes, it would have been fantastic to have seen Zainab again in the PWR, but I'm sure she'll continue to rip it up for Richmond in Championship 1. Shout out again to Beth Taylor and Abby Lamb for your appearances in the PWR Cup. all the best, and never say never. Hopefully, we will see you again in a Tigers shirt. So, main part of this episode: who is Olivia Tallon? Who is from Wexford in Ireland? Obviously, famously the home of Tard Furlong, I believe. And yeah, joins the list of Tigers signings. We've got a burgeoning Irish cohort at the club, which is something that's quite interesting, particularly Irish players that have been signed from Australia. Following the footsteps of Beth Cregan and Ali Coleman, who we've already signed earlier on in the year. They're yet to appear to the club, but are now. I don't think their contract started until just at the start of this sort of pre-season run before the PWR. So they're definitely at the club. I've seen them in socials and stuff. Excited to see what they can bring to Tigers. But yeah, so Olivia Tallon, 25, personal trainer and business marketing graduate, according to the little video that she did on the Tigers social media post. I just think it's very, very interesting. Obviously, Hattie, who I had on in the last podcast episode, has spoken quite a bit on the Women's Rugby Treehouse about how Irish women's rugby is very different to men's rugby. Men's rugby is hugely dominated by, obviously, the Leinster area public schools, particularly in Dublin. And you do not really see that in the women's game. In the women's game, it's very rural. Obviously, Leinster traditionally have been quite successful in sort of interprovincial championships, but recently the tide has turned to Munster. And yeah, a lot of players that seem to be coming through a club system rather than the private school system, which obviously produced so many players for both Leinster and Ireland men over the many, many years. So yeah, it's very, very interesting that this is another player who has come through sort of the Irish club scene rather than any sort of private school or provincial pathways. So since 2022, Tallon has been in Perth in Western Australia. She's played for a club called West's Scarborough rather than West Scarborough. It's West's plural, which is a team in Perth or near Perth, and was also part of the Western Force wider training squad in the 2025 Super Rugby W season. She didn't make an appearance for Western Force during that time. She made an unofficial appearance in a friendly off the bench against Penina Pacifica. I hope that's the correct pronunciation. Obviously, please do tell me if that's the incorrect pronunciation. It's possible that she had a ankle ligament injury. That was mentioned when I did a bit of research on her somewhere. I don't know how recent or in the past that was. But yeah, that's sort of where she's come from. She's good friends with Clodagh Dunn, which was mentioned in the Tigers sort of announcement release, and was part of Leinster's wider training squad for the 2025 Interprovincial Championships in the summer just gone, but did not make an appearance. But I said this on social media. This may not be the case, but I have a suspicion that this may be a signing that Tigers have made late in the day because of Easter Savelio's injury. Obviously, she suffered a very serious knee injury for Samoa, which means that she didn't feature in the World Cup for Samoa. And is currently rehabbing. Well, she's rehabbing between Australia and Samoa, as far as I can tell. So we don't know when she will be able to come over to the UK, but hopefully for Tigers fans somewhere in the new year, if not sooner. So, in Tigers press release, Tallon is described as, and I quote, a big ball-carrying second row who likes to get involved at the breakdown and prides herself on her detail line-out work. Well, let's certainly hope that's the case. I think it's really interesting, Tigers' second row options this season. Obviously, some huge departures over the summer in that department with the likes of, obviously, Charlotte Frey, Eva Donaldson, Julia Mokwale, Kata Jacobs. Some really big departures in that department. But I think it's been interesting as to where Tigers have signed from, and they've looked to Australia. Obviously, Ali Coleman, back row, second row, already signed. Denny Ross, centrally contracted, uncapped, thus far, second row from Queensland Reds. Obviously, Emerson Allen, who we've signed from the US, who was part of the US's World Cup squad but didn't make an appearance. I can tell you from being at a like the captain's run or whatever they call it, the captain's run now, but the big training session that they do for a match day. I was there at one of the USA ones in York, and my God, is Emerson Allen a tall player. I think she's going to bring loads to our line out this season, and I'm very excited to see what she can bring for Tigers. And then, obviously, Easter Savelio, I think, was a very, very good signing. Has always been a powerful presence in Super Rugby W in Australia. So I'm hoping that she can recover from injury in time to feature for Tigers at some point this season. But yeah, I hope that Tallon does prove to be a big ball carrying second row, because on paper she sounds like just the right fit for a Leicester Tigers team. Unfortunately, because she hasn't featured that much for Western Force in the past few years, I haven't really found any footage of her, but like in terms of highlights and stuff. But yeah, hopefully she can bring a lot to Tigers this season. Which kind of brings me to, I think, final point. Is she EQP? Obviously, Tigers do have to abide by a certain quota of EQP, a certain average quota of English qualified players for the PWR season. It is something that was particularly in our first season, the PWR, we really struggled with. We got a points deduction. As far as I can tell, Tallon is not EQP, but I think Ali Coleman is, because according to the Tigers website, she was born in England or in the UK. So Coleman potentially is EQP. It's one of those things where, like, we're not going to know about grandparents, parents, etc. So yeah, not really sure on that front. But again, like, I trust the club to be well versed in terms of making sure that not only are we hitting EQP quotas, but also we're doing it in a way that we can field competitive squads. So yeah, well, Olivia, welcome to Tigers. Really excited to see how you get on. Really excited to see how you're in action alongside other second row signings. And yeah, thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned on socials, particularly Instagram and Twitter. Obviously, you can always email me, ltwfancast@gmail.com, in the run-up to that awesome and nail-bitingly nervous opening fixture against Sale. I will be doing a big preview pod that's booked in. I've got a guest to come on that. That's going to be really exciting. As to whether, in terms of content between now and then, just wait and see. Will Tigers make more signings? Who knows? I'm still holding on for that big World Cup signing. Hopefully, fingers crossed. We'll see. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know feedback in the comments if you liked this, or if you just think I'm just chatting rubbish. Let me know. And